In the bustling town of Umuzi, there was one hair salon that stood out from the rest, not just because of the quality of work, but because of the speed at which it was done. That salon belonged to Yasha. Yasha was famous for her incredible braiding skills. No matter the complexity of the hairstyle, she never spent more than an hour on a single client. Styles that would typically take an entire day or more. With Yasha, you'd be in and out in just an hour. Naturally, people flocked to her salon, eager to get flawless braids without spending the whole day in a chair. But there was one unusual rule in Yasha's salon. Mirrors, or anything that could reflect an image, were strictly forbidden. From the moment you stepped up to her door, she would remind you of this rule. She even went as far as searching customers' bags to make sure they weren't sneaking in compact mirrors, phones, or anything that could reflect their appearance. No one really knew why she enforced this rule so strictly, but most people didn't question it. After all, they were getting stunning hairstyles at record speed. Not wanting to cause any trouble, she immediately tossed the mirror outside. After all, she was there for one thing, to get her hair done. Surprisingly, in less than an hour, her hair was beautifully braided. She didn't even ask why such a strange rule existed in a hair salon. She just left, happy with her new look. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth does Yasha have such a bizarre rule? Well, stay with me, because the story is just getting started. But before I dive in, let me take a moment to say, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Come on, be a part of this journey. And to my amazing returning subscribers, hey, welcome back. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. Another bright and beautiful day unfolded in Umuzi as Zuri, a young woman with a love for adventure and curiosity, stepped into the town. She needed her hair braided and had been told that Yasha Salon was the best place to go. When Zuri arrived, Yasha, the salon's owner, welcomed her warmly, but quickly explained a strict rule. No mirrors were allowed while she braided hair. Zuri frowned, puzzled. Why can't I use a mirror in a hair salon? How will I know if you're doing my hair the way I want? Yasha met her gaze calmly. You don't need to worry about the hairstyle, she said with quiet confidence. I always get it right, but if you can't follow my rule, I won't do your hair. Zuri was taken aback. The rule made no sense to her, and Yasha's firm stance only deepened her curiosity. She refused to go along with it and left the salon, confused but intrigued. The thought lingered in her mind long after she walked away. Zuri wasn't the kind of person to ignore things that didn't sit right with her. If something seemed off, she had to find out why. The next day, determined to understand, she returned to the salon. This time, she apologized to Yasha and agreed to follow the rule. As Yasha braided her hair, Zuri couldn't help but notice how incredibly fast and skilled she was. Her fingers moved with an almost unnatural speed, weaving intricate patterns in what should have taken hours. Then something strange happened. A faint whisper, barely audible, brushed against Zuri's ears. She tensed. Yasha, how do you do this? You braid so fast, even styles that should take days. Yasha simply smiled. It's just a talent I have. But Zuri wasn't convinced. She sensed there was more to the story, something Yasha wasn't saying. Her curiosity burned even brighter. She decided she needed answers, real answers. The following day, she traveled to a neighboring town to visit an elderly woman known for her spiritual insight. She told the woman everything she had seen and felt at Yasha's salon. The woman listened carefully, then closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Moments later, she opened them with a somber expression. Child, Yasha is not working alone. An unseen force helps her braid hair at such an unnatural speed, an evil spirit. Zuri's heart pounded. An evil spirit? The old woman nodded. Yes, and Yasha knows it, but she is trapped. When she was just a baby, her mother took her to this spirit and made a deal, one that Yasha had no say in. The spirit granted her extraordinary braiding abilities, but there was a price. Each time she braids a woman's hair, the spirit feeds off of it, growing stronger. Zuri sat in stunned silence. The worst part, the woman continued, is that Yasha wants to be free. She hates what she is, but she doesn't know how to escape. The spirit has been tied to her since birth, and if anyone ever looks into a mirror while she braids their hair— The woman paused, her face darkening. What happens? Zuri whispered. She dies. A chill ran down Zuri's spine. Now she understood why Yasha was so strict about the mirror rule. It wasn't about vanity or control, it was about survival. Zuri left the old woman's home with a heavy heart. Yasha wasn't just a skilled hairdresser with a strange rule. She was a prisoner, bound by a curse she never asked for. And now that Zuri knew the truth, she couldn't ignore it. She had to help Yasha find a way out. Zuri was determined to help Yasha break free from the evil spirit's grip. She couldn't just use Yasha's salon mirror and leave her to suffer. She wanted to save her. So she turned to the elderly woman for help, pleading with her to find a way to free Yasha. The woman agreed and prepared a special mirror, one that could trap the spirit inside. She handed it to Zuri and told her exactly what to do. She had to reflect the mirror around the salon. When Zuri arrived at Yasha's salon, she wasted no time explaining the plan. Yasha was nervous but willing. She had suffered long enough and desperately wanted to be free. As Zuri began reflecting the mirror around the room, the spirit inside Yasha grew furious, sensing the trap. It lashed out, threatening Yasha's life, but the mirror's power was too strong. It glowed brightly, pulling the spirit in, despite its violent struggle. Finally, the spirit was sealed inside the mirror. Without hesitation, Zuri smashed the mirror into pieces. It was over. Yasha gasped, feeling lighter, free for the first time in years. Overwhelmed with joy, she turned to Zuri. "Thank you so much. I've been searching for a way to break free from this spirit for so long. It wasn't just about the mirrors. It controlled every part of my life. It even stopped me from getting married. Suitors came, but the spirit wouldn't let me accept any of them. But now, I can finally live my life." Zuri smiled, relieved that she had been able to help. From that day on, mirrors returned to Yasha's salon. Curious clients asked questions, but everyone was happy for her. To celebrate her freedom, Yasha threw a feast, inviting everyone who had supported her. Her salon became more popular than ever, and she and Zuri grew into close friends. And so that was the end of the story of Yasha, the hairstylist who once refused to let her clients use a mirror. But there's a lesson in this story. First, while it's important to respect rules and policies, if something doesn't sit right with you, it's okay to challenge it, no matter how tempting the benefits may seem.